Love is just a click away. Welcome to the Lover List, where we bring you the best love, dating, and relationship stories Reddit has to offer. Don't be a love spectator. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join the love parade. Why do all guys just stop yourself right there, please? This sub has an annoying and slightly gross habit of making things out to be like the last thing someone experienced with a partner is a universal thing with the entire 4 billion people of that gender they dated. Recently we've had such bangers such as, paraphrasing, "Tell me there are guys out there who don't cheat. Why is it hard for guys to say they're not interested instead of ghost?" Many on people not wanting to find a long-term relationship, when many of us are on either aisle. For one, rates of cheating are much closer than you'd expect. Had to remove recent survey links due to automod, which a reasonable person could have assumed would happen with empowerment plus opportunity. This is a human constant regardless of race or gender or any other divider, but in both cases it's a significant minority. Most men and most women do not cheat still. Many of my friends have been devastated by cheating. Many men and women on here have been. It's not specifically gendered. All of the rest is also things we both experience. I've been hurt by seeing someone for 7 months before, and after having a chat about getting a bit more consistent and serious, was hard ghosted after she was enthusiastically saying yes in person. Shit sucks. It wasn't a guy, lol. Because both genders do that plenty. Please leave the gender warring on the elementary school playground where it belongs. I'd like to believe a significant minority of people may be shit, but the majority are good, and even the worst stats on cheaters bear that out. Ghosting is just a problem of our times with modern dating apps, and almost all of this other stuff I've seen brought up as a gender-specific thing I've either experienced myself from another partner or my friends have. Just understand a lot of this is universal. It'll even help you feel better and move on. I'm getting sick of the does, X gender, like it when, Y event/action. The answer is always sometimes. Some guys like it when you approach them, some don't. Some women expect the man to pay for the meal, some don't. Any gender grouping needs to stop, agree. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how rampant it is among both genders. I don't see how anyone with common sense and the ability to think rationally can justify generalizing billions of people. The internet encourages extremes, gender-biased subreddits with not enough diversity, one subreddit with the overwhelming majority being men or the overwhelming majority being women, will always lead to these extremes as less exposure leads to more one-sided opinions over time. Some people post in the same gender-related subreddits every day. It's a routine for many of those people. You will find that both genders in gender-skewed subreddits have very unhealthy views. These kind of subreddits thrive off of support from people with negative experiences who provide their extreme views and general disinterest toward a specific group of individuals. Rhetorical generalizations under the guise of questions like "Why are men so pathetic?" and "Why do women have absurd standards?" aren't genuine questions seeking genuine answers. They're seeking like-minded support, the kind of support that's unhealthy and leads to these extremes. Prefacing discussion about men/women with some/a lot/many makes said discussion more palatable and genuine. Without it, it's easy to disregard, IMO. I'm enjoying the meta-argument in the comments about whether it is men or women who are to blame for overgeneralizing about genders. I hate when they all do that. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I feel like there's a lot of "why do all guys" that essentially refers to a certain type of guy and has very little self-reflection on how the choices you make about the people you see have entirely predictable consequences. I feel like there's a lot of "why do all guys" that essentially refers to a certain type of guy and has very little self-reflection on how the choices you make about the people you see have entirely predictable consequences. What? Surely you can't mean that people fail to self-examine their choices and behavior to figure out how their actions are responsible for the negative patterns they're trapped in. It's the world who is entirely to blame. Yup. I really do think a big part of the problem is a lot of women really like certain traditional masculine roles and norms from a partner, which will frequently correlate to, you guessed KT, more toxic and problematic expressions of masculinity they don't like. Or my other favorite. Why do guys make you think they're serious, but they're sleeping with multiple women on the side? Like, maybe 4 or 5% of us are in a position to ever even do that. Why do all women? 'Cause y'all like it. Seriously though, was reading the initial part of this response thread early this AM and got distracted by shiny pretty things and just came back full circle. I'll be damned if it's just people fighting each other about fighting each other. Literally proving the senseless crap by arguing about not agreeing about doing the senseless crap. Where's the creativity? Where are the witty one-liners? Was everyone just mind-bendingly blitzed on something last night and I missed the memo? I want my stereotypical Redditors back. I think people just need to get off the internet and touch some grass because the internet is just ruining our perceptions of each other. I agree that gender generalization needs to stop as we end up seeing posts about men and women generalized as doing essentially the same things over and over. It all seems kind of superfluous, repetitive, and juvenile. I don't care if the poster is hurt. I don't care if the posters are frustrated. This doesn't make generalizations, especially unhelpful ones, any more valid just because of what they're feeling in the moment. Personally, the posts I find to be most aggravating are the ones that are thrown into the pit of despair by not finding the love of their life after the third day. Some people just need to grow the F up. Dating takes time and effort. It's not supposed to be easy and it's not always going to be fun, but the payoff is well worth what you put into it. While I agree with your point, I do find it interesting that you only mention instances in which men are generalized and not the other way around. Because most non-reactionary communities are already on the same page that generalizing women like that is bad. There's a problem even in explicitly progressive spaces that should know better with just generalizing men that way, and getting real huffy when called on it. There's a reason most men writing about men's problems will often write more text explaining that they understand women's problems and this isn't an attack on all women, so on and so forth, etc., etc. And it's because if you don't frame it that way and just talk about the problem without that song and dance beforehand, it descends into whataboutisms and eventually a screaming match. Those posting this are in pain and hurt. Whether you are a man or woman reading these posts, you don't have to take it personally. You don't have to justify anything, nor defend anything. They are hurt and need venting or need answers. They are not taking their time to figure out if their phrasing is gender correct or politically correct. They are writing how they feel and how they experience things. That's not an excuse we really apply equally though, so I think we need to let it stop being an excuse. If you want to vent about an entire sex, do it in a safe space that's specifically for that. Yet the why do all women hate short men, why do all women want you to pay for everything, why are women so shallow post also still continue. You should copy the post, change the genders and questions to what you said, and post it then. Why do all men hate bigger girls? Why do men take offense when I don't let them take financial control? Why are men so shallow and only care about looks? Like, yes, these have all been asked. Agreed with the cheating. This is the one hill I would die on. Women cheat just the same. I believe statistically it's like 51% versus 49% or somewhere along those lines. The difference is women do tend to want sympathy/empathy, understandably so. Men tend to want more dignity. Guys don't typically go around saying, yeah, I got cheated on, that's why we are over. Also to note, as a universal accepted truth, if women cheat, it's because of the man. If a man cheats, it's because of him as well. Complaining about ghosting is a waste of someone's time. Just have to understand that in reality no one owes you anything. I've had a girl who was asking about a second date on our first date, then ghosted me immediately and never responded again. Let's also include those upholding the all men are trash thoughts. It only bothers those who are trash though. The ones who know they're not won't say anything because they know it doesn't apply to them. Listen, even the ones who don't say anything are bothered by it, being told or hearing that an aspect of their identity is being bad-mouthed. Anyone comparing men to objects, specifically the metaphor about pretend someone hands you a bag of snakes and tells you to pick one out of it without looking, 99% are harmless but one of them is venomous. Do you still reach in? While also rejecting the reduction of their own gender to metaphorical objects, either we are both nouns, or we are neither nouns. Can't have the cake and eat it too. The reality is women complain about men, and men complain about women, and anyone who dates any kind of person will complain about them, and here we have a man complaining about women complaining about men, and more men getting mad that women are annoyed that these men don't see how often they complain about us too. And women getting mad that men are complaining about us, complaining about them, complaining about us. It goes both ways, and it's never gonna stop, and none of us are ever gonna feel like the other side gets us. That's Reddit in a nutshell. Everybody wants to think dating is just difficult for them. It's atrocious for literally all of us. I don't care who you identify as or who you find attraction to, be it romantic, sexual, or any other attraction. It's extremely hard, and that should be a lesson to all of us to think just a little bit more about how we interact with others while dating and lean a little bit more toward kindness, emotional openness, and vulnerability. Be safe out there, everybody. You're all deserving of love, and I hope you find it in this mess out there. The root of the problem is most people don't have any opportunities to interact with people IRL. It's hard for people to wrap their heads around IRL conversations when 90% of their social interactions are online. I don't think there is a good solution for this problem. There are plenty of opportunities to interact with people IRL, so the solution is simple. People need to live in the moment and not in their phones. Stop taking pictures of food for Insta, stop fake booking, just put down the phone and simply talk to people IRL. It's really quite easy. Just walk up and say hi. I am over here with the popcorn watching the show. Been out of the dating scene for the last 24 years. Wife passed away in 2021, so now I read these posts to get some insight into today's dating situation. I just turned 50, so I have a lot to learn. Seems like it's not that easy compared to going to Blockbuster and striking up a conversation. So please carry on. I enjoy reading and have lots of free time in the evenings. Anecdotes are terrible evidence of what is typical. But it seems that when people are emotionally charged about an experience, they want to imagine that it's something everyone similarly situated goes through. Sadly, this can easily become sexism and bigotry. In the context of dating across binary genders, one should only look to data that is valid and reliable, but when it comes to people's attitudes about dating and relationships, that can be difficult to find. Not to mention trying to collect accurate data about activities such as cheating, which by their nature are not openly shared. I mostly take those posts to be from people who only date the gender they're posting about. So it's not that the other gender does not engage in the behavior, it's just that the poster is not asking about that gender one way or the other. E.g., I don't care why women do, I don't date them, and I'll never ask about them. Problem is the lack of existential awareness. It's like saying all men/women cheat and then smiling and laughing with your male or female colleague at work, hugging your dad and picking your son up from school. I don't think they believe it themselves. 28M, IMO. The very best way to avoid ghosting it to meet someone in person that doesn't like dating apps either. Other than that, it's just a dice roll. I would never cheat, but I also haven't been dating partially BC. I don't want to be cheated on or ghosted. Been almost 2 years, yikes. Another episode of relationship stories that are truly worth telling, and you got to be a part of it. If you enjoyed hearing these tales, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications too so you never miss an episode filled with tales that'll warm your heart.